Hello, my fellow nerds, Monday yet again, and there is a lot of things going on in the nerd world this week. 1. Assassin's Creed Revelations comes out tomorrow. I personally have not pre-ordered it yet, and I expect to buy it around Christmas time when I do have the money. I know a lot of people have it pre-ordered, and they're super psyched for it. I hope everyone has a happy time playing it, because I have to wait until December to play it. Another game news, Skyrim recently came out. And I know everyone has been going nuts about Skyrim within good reason because Skyrim is fucking amazing. I personally do not have the game yet. I know my brother is freaking out about it. I know a bunch of my friends from school are playing it right now obsessively. Other things. Hunger Games full trailer came out today. I just finished watching it and it completely erased any doubts I have about this movie. So outside of all that nerdy news, I guess. Today I thought we'd talk about books. Because we honestly don't really talk about books that often on this channel. I mean, we talk about movies from books, we talk about comic books, we talked about Harry Potter, but we never actually just talked about books. Books is such a broad category and stuff like that, so I thought we would talk about our to-read list. My to-read list is actually quite long. I thought I'd start out with the book I'm currently reading, moving on to new books I'm going to read, and then books I plan on rereading. So, let's get started. The book I'm currently reading right now is Ray Bradbury's The Halloween Tree. My friend recommended it to me, and I've always been a dedicated Kurt Vonnegut fan. So, I was like, I should probably give Ray Bradbury a try. And she recommended The Halloween Tree. And I'm, like, almost done with it. I'm, like, here in the book, like, this is all I have left. And I just read that today. And I have to say, so far, this is an absolutely amazing book. It's a quick read. It's so visually captivating. And it really gets your imagination going. It's short, sweet, but it tells a lot in it. And it also deals with Halloween, which is my all-time favorite holiday. And, like, Halloween was taken away from me this year because of the stupid snowstorm we had at the very end of October. And I never got to celebrate Halloween. So this is, like, my mini Halloween celebration. And I totally plan on rereading this again when I get a copy for myself. Now, moving on to my new books to read. First one is Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk. I've been a fan for Chuck Palahniuk. I'm probably still pronouncing his last name wrong. For a couple years now, my first introduction to him was through Fight Club. And I actually didn't read Fight Club first. My first book I ever read by Chuck Palahniuk was The Invisible Monsters. And I thought Invisible Monsters was absolutely brilliant. And I loved that one. Shortly thereafter, I read Fight Club. Yet again, awesome. And I picked up this one a really long time ago. It was at a used bookstore, so I was like, might as well try to build up my Palahniuk collection. I think it's scary stories. And if you knew me personally, you know I'm absolutely terrified of anything horror-related because I am a huge scaredy cat. Like, I get afraid watching slasher movies, and slasher movies are not meant to be scary. They're meant for blood and guts and suspense. I hate those things. I hate Chucky. That freaks me out too. I hate anything having to do with ghosts. Ghosts are my #1 fear ever. And it's not that I've ever had a paranormal experience or anything like that. It's just that I'm terrified of them, the idea of them existing. And I've never had an experience, like I said. So I'm trying to face my fears and read this one. The next one on my list is Leviathan by Scott Westerfield. This is actually the first book in a series that he is writing, and what first drew me into this book was this amazing illustration in the beginning of it. I wish this had the full color version of it, but it's this totally awesome steampunky map of Europe during the Great War in 1914, and obviously you can tell that it is a steampunk novel. Next on my list is A Tale of Two Cities. You can't really tell that it's A Tale of Two Cities because it's a really old copy. I have to read this for school anyway, but I went to the used bookstore and I saw this really lovely copy of it. I just had to pick it up, and I actually want to read it before I read it in school, because in school when I read books I read with an analytical mind, and when I read them on my own I'm not reading with an analytical mind. I'm reading for my own entertainment and my own pleasure. So I'd like to have reading it for pleasure first and then analyzing it later. The next one is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. Of course you guys know that the David Fincher adaptation of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is coming out in December on the 21st, and I am so psyched for this movie. I have watched the Swedish films before, but I haven't read the books. I thought, well, now I'm really interested in Fincher's version, and I totally trust Fincher with adaptations, and all of his movies are absolutely magnificent. So I thought, might as well read the books, and everyone is telling me, go read them. They're absolutely amazing. So that's what I'm going to do. Next one on my list is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This is where Frankenstein originated. This is the truth about Frankenstein, not any horror movie or young Frankenstein movie you've seen. I know it's messed up. I know it's going to be creepy. And I'm so excited to read this because I know I don't read it in high school. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to read it in college. So I decided to read it on my own. First, I'm going with a very creepy theme with these books. And I normally don't ever gravitate towards really creepy books. So this is a new expansion for me in my reading horizons. The last one on my new to read book list is The Invention of Hugo Cabret. This is not actually my copy. This is my friend's copy, the same one who's lending me the Halloween tree. And she said, this is absolutely amazing. Read it. And I wanted to read it before I went to go see the movie anyway, because I always believe in reading the book first before you go see the movie. And so far, from just flipping through it, like, the illustrations are absolutely breathtaking, and I love a good book with illustrations. I love graphic novels, so this is a nice happy medium between illustration and words without being a graphic novel. So I'm really excited to read this. Apparently, it's won tons of awards, purely because of its illustrations as well as storytelling. And apparently, I've heard from, like, New York Times websites that the movie Hugo has received like 4 stars or something, so this is like a really fucking good movie. So I was like, alright, I have to read the book before I go see this thing. And now, on to my to reread pile is Slaughterhouse-Five of Kurt Vonnegut. Like I said, I'm a huge Kurt Vonnegut fan. If you haven't read Slaughterhouse-Five, I don't understand how you haven't, because Kurt Vonnegut is absolutely brilliant, and Slaughterhouse-Five is definitely his favorite, his most famous novel. Personally, when it comes to Kurt Vonnegut, my favorite is Welcome to the Monkey House, which is a series of short stories. They were actually my first exposure to Kurt Vonnegut in the first place, and I think those were the ones that got me into like contemporary science fiction. One on my list is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Now, I read this in school last year for American Lit, and then again, like I said, I read with an analytical mind when it comes to school. So I didn't fully enjoy it as much as I wanted to, so I decided, hey, I really liked it in school. I wonder what it's going to be like when I just read it for myself, and I'm not trying to look out for symbolism or any metaphors or what does this mean, what does that mean, and stuff like that. And yeah, Great Gatsby, man. I think it's so important for any person to read this book, specifically Americans, because just F. Scott Fitzgerald, man, Great Gatsby, so good. I don't care if people don't like it. You should read it anyway. And the next one for me to reread is Watchmen, because I actually haven't read this since the movie was coming out. And the original reason why I read it in the first place was I could go and see the movie the day it came out and understand everything. And I remember I was just racing through this to be able to read everything before the movie came out, that I really didn't absorb all of it. And it's been a while since I've read it, and I was like, you know what, I have it, I miss it, I should read it again. Anyway, I hope you guys have an awesome week, and I hope none of you are really stressed out, because I know college finals, midterms, whatever, are coming up. And yeah, I'll see you guys next Monday.